My name is Heather Hayes, and I am a member of the International Olympic Committee Executive Board. I am here to announce that the IOC has rejected Pacechester's bid for the 2020 Olympics. The Games has been awarded to Lemoyne-Chester in upstate New York. First, we were disappointed by Mayor Ossoon's lack of support for the Games coming to Pacechester. The lack of organizational professionalism observed by the recent Twitter hack put a sour taste in our mouth. Second, we were disappointed in Pacechester 2020's inability to persuade residents that the Olympics would benefit your community. The group organized a fictitious meeting and tried to bamboozle the community with mock photography. Additionally, IOC was disappointed in POP for using scare tactics to mislead residents about the effects of the Olympics. We also know many people who were involved in the World Cup, and we have let them know that Pacechester is not a receptive community to sports. So Choate FC's efforts to build a stadium here are doomed to fail. We don't believe that Pacechester's infrastructure is strong enough at this time to sustain an event as massive as the Olympics. Our goal is to bring the Games to communities which can handle it economically and residentially. Our interests are not only about bringing sports and enjoyment to communities, but ensuring we don't harm those communities in any way. Furthermore, the recent hooliganism in the Pacechester community has raised concerns with the IOC. Due to these aforementioned points, we strongly believe that the International Olympic Committee's values do not align with Pacechester at this time. Thank you for your time. I'm open to any questions, if you have them.
I have a question. Choate FC CEO Haley
Hi.
Cabrera. So you said you're disappointed by POP using scare tactics for the community.
Yes.
And you don't think you threatening us by contacting people about the World Cup is threatening and not good?
We're just letting you know that we have contacts with the World Cup, and if you want to build a community that is sustainable to having a stadium that can hold 18,000 people,
Then what?
then
Well, thank you for your
No,
time.
can you
Everything
repeat
is
your
working out
question,
great for
please?
us, and you'll be invited to the first game.
can
Have a
you
great day.
repeat your question,
I already
please?
asked my question and you couldn't answer it, so thank you.
How about some of the journalists? Questions?
So what was the process in deciding that Pacechester was not a good fit for the Olympics?
Well, as I mentioned just now, a lot of things have been happening in the community that don't align with our values. The hooliganism with the recent fight at the soccer game, the fact that your community really could not sustain an event like the Olympics, given the issues with your environment and the issues with finding an acceptable place to build a stadium. Yes.
Sabrina Sanchez, Pacechester Daily. Who are the stakeholders in making the final decision on who gets the Olympic bid?
It's the stakeholders. It's a board. It's an executive board. I'm a member of that executive board, and we look into all of the variables that determine whether or not a community could sustain the Olympics. And at this time, we don't believe Pacechester could sustain it.
And who else is on that board?
You could contact our website to find the list of names. Any other questions?
Have you had any prior interactions with Pacechester before deciding, like being on the Olympic Committee and deciding that Pacechester was not a good fit for the Olympics?
Have I been, what are you asking?
Have
Have
you
I
had any
been to
connections to
Pacechester?
Pacechester? Yeah.
I've been observing what is happening in Pacechester. I do not live here, therefore I don't have any residential connections.
Alright, well,
All right. Oh, yes?
Did you not own And Pizza?
Oh, I formerly worked as the communications director of And Pizza, yes.
At Pacechester?
No, we weren't based out of Pacechester. We were trying to, gain a location in Pacechester.
So you do have relations
and
to
we
Pacechester?
we succeeded. Yes, but as I said, I did not live in Pacechester. Yes.
So it's reasonable to think that your former colleagues at Pacechester
Yeah.
would benefit if they got the Olympics, and yet you still chose to reject?
I mean, the community as a whole won't benefit to the Olympics being here. Therefore, I don't believe that And Pizza will benefit either.
Can you give us the reasons to why you think the community won't benefit from holding the Olympics?
Well, that's what I mentioned before in my speech.
You mentioned that there was no support from the mayor. You didn't say why they wouldn't benefit.
I said that the community cannot sustain the Olympics at this time due to your problems with infrastructure and the lack of space for a stadium.
We actually put out a lot of work since we are looking for a stadium as well, and there is room for one. So what are you talking about? No room for a stadium?
Well, without destroying people's homes or uprooting people, we don't want to repeat what happened in Rio.
Have you had any, sorry, have you had any personal meetings with Chode FC, Pop, the mayor's office, or anything?
Not
Or is this
personally,
just
no.
based off of observations?
This is based off of work of my other team members. I'm here to represent the executive board.
Will you be having any meetings with any of the representatives from any of those groups?
No.
You said the values don't align. The IOC's values don't align. What exactly are those values?
Well, our goal is to bring sports and entertainment to a community that is positive, that isn't partaking in hooliganism, and
Are you aware that that game didn't actually happen?
I was made aware of a fight and a police report about a fight.
So if you work in this industry, you've never had a fight at any of your games or anything, that's enough for you to cancel all of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be taking any more questions at this time, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming to our community of Pacechester when you're not a member and saying that we're not positive and don't deserve this.
And we hate sports.